There's a major pattern shift coming, and we already have enough confidence in the forecast to start giving people a heads up. Trust me, this is something you're going to want to know about. I'm going to break it all down for you in just a second. But first, we need to take a look at these incredible temperatures because, wow, it feels like summer out there right now. Here at the Weather House, we're hitting the 70s today. In parts of Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, it's pushing nearly 80 degrees. It's that perfect sunny, warm kind of weather where you just want to get outside and soak it all in. And it's not just the Southeast experiencing this warmth. We're talking about widespread record-breaking temperatures all over the country. Across the central and southern U.S., temperatures are running anywhere from 10 to 30 degrees above average. And check this out. Parts of Texas are getting dangerously close to 90 degrees tomorrow. Meanwhile, up in northern Montana, South Dakota, and Nebraska, where you'd usually expect late winter chill, they're hitting the 60s. That's wild when you consider that they're normally supposed to be in the upper 20s or 30s this time of year. It's not just the central U.S. either. Even the desert Southwest is experiencing incredible heat, with parts of Arizona and California reaching the mid-90s today and tomorrow. This is some truly unprecedented warmth for late February. Before we get into the details, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. But here's the thing, this warm and sunny pattern isn't going to last much longer. As we close out February and head into the first few days of March, everything is going to change in a pretty dramatic way. A big storm system is getting ready to move in, bringing a serious shakeup to our weather. By early next week, a cold front will sweep across much of the eastern U.S., bringing temperatures back down to more typical late winter levels and maybe even below average in some places. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't some huge Arctic blast or a major polar vortex situation. We're not talking about an extreme deep freeze. This cool down is just part of the overall pattern shift tied to this incoming storm system. But after all this warm weather, it's still going to feel like a big change. If we look at the 500 millibar wind speeds, where we typically track the movement of the jet stream, you can really see this pattern starting to take shape. Right now, there's a big dip in the jet stream forming out west, which will help guide a few fast-moving clippers through the northern U.S. over the next several days. These systems could bring some light snow from Minnesota down through the Great Lakes and into parts of the Northeast. We're not expecting anything too crazy, just some scattered rain and snow showers here and there. You might see some rain in the Appalachian Mountains, maybe even a few snowflakes mixing in, but overall, it's pretty typical for this time of year. But what's really caught my attention is what's happening out west. As a big ridge builds up over the western U.S. and we continue to see a strong push of warm air from the southwest, we're starting to see these little cutoff lows developing. One of those lows will make its way onto the West Coast this weekend. By Saturday, you'll see it right around California and Arizona, and it'll stick around through Sunday. That dip in the jet stream will create some lift ahead of it. And when you combine that with moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, it could lead to some showers and storms developing over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Now, because of the cold, dry air spilling down from Canada, there won't be a huge amount of moisture for this system to tap into. So I don't expect this to turn into a major severe weather outbreak, but it's definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on just in case things start to trend more active. The real action, though, kicks off next week. By Tuesday, March 4th, we're looking at a significant and potentially dangerous setup for severe weather across a large portion of the central U.S. A full latitude trough will dig down across the country, creating a highly dynamic environment for storms. The Storm Prediction Center is already taking this seriously. They've issued a Day 7 outlook with a 15% risk for severe weather stretching from Dallas, Texas, all the way to Memphis, Tennessee, and into parts of Mississippi and Alabama. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support makes me happy. So that's a pretty big deal, especially this far out. When you see a day 7 outlook with that kind of confidence, you know the experts are paying close attention. At this point, we're still too far out to get into the nitty-gritty details of specific threats and timing, but the overall setup is concerning. It's looking more and more likely that we'll see a major severe weather outbreak in this area, possibly our first big event of the season. Over the next several days, we'll start getting a clearer picture of what this storm is going to do, and I'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way. So let's talk about the overall weather pattern we're expecting over the next week or two, starting with the jet stream. Right now, we have a relatively zonal flow across most of the U.S., which is keeping extreme weather at bay for now. Over on the West Coast, there's finally a break from those atmospheric river events, thanks to a ridge building up there. And on Saturday, the jet stream is going to take a dip over the Northeast, pulling some cold air down from Canada. That's going to bring a chilly blast to areas like the Northeast. So if you put your winter jacket away, you might want to dig it back out by late weekend and early next week. That jet stream gets even stronger, diving straight out of Canada across the Midwest and Northeast. That's going to bring another Arctic blast to the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast by Sunday and Monday. So be ready for some pretty cold temperatures. As we move into early next week, things get even more interesting. Large storm system is expected to roll in from the Pacific Ocean late Monday into Tuesday, moving right into the central and southern plains by Tuesday and Wednesday. This looks like our next big storm, and it's likely to bring both severe weather and snowfall. Beyond that, things get a little more uncertain, but one thing's for sure, the weather pattern is going to stay very active through the first 2 weeks of March. Honestly, I think we're going to be live a lot next month covering severe weather. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Let's simplify things by taking a look at the future radar. Starting tomorrow, we're going to see some light to moderate snow in northern New England and some showers along the East Coast. Nothing major, but definitely some wintry weather. Friday and Saturday are when things start to get more intense. A heavy band of snow is going to push across parts of Canada and into the upper Midwest by Friday morning. We're talking several inches of snow for northern Wisconsin, the upper peninsula of Michigan, and northern Minnesota. This system will eventually push into the Northeast by Saturday morning. While many areas will see several inches of snow, places like Chicago are probably going to stay on the dry side of this one. Meanwhile, over on the West Coast and near the Rockies, not much is happening right now, which is actually pretty rare. But as we move into late weekend and early next week, rain and snow will start to pick up again in the Pacific Northwest. We've also got a sneaky little storm system developing in the central and southern plains late Sunday into Monday. Right now, it doesn't look like a major severe weather event or winter storm, but there is a chance for some isolated severe weather. If the system trends stronger, that could change. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. By Tuesday morning, that system starts to fizzle out, but the big one we've been talking about is still on track for Tuesday into Wednesday. There's still a lot of uncertainty around this storm because it's about 6 to 8 days out. But models have been consistently showing a large-scale storm for a while now. We're pretty confident that something big is coming next week. As for severe weather, I'd be watching areas like the Ohio Valley, Dixie Alley, and parts of Texas on Tuesday and Wednesday. This storm could bring damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes, so all modes of severe weather are on the table. Again, there's a solid chance we'll be going live at least once next week, so stay tuned for that. The winter storm aspect of the system is still pretty uncertain, but there's a decent chance for a narrow band of moderate to heavy snow somewhere. We just don't know exactly where yet. Tomorrow's video will dive deeper into the snow forecast and we'll get even more details as we get closer to the event. Looking beyond midweek, there's the potential for another storm system in the southeast on Thursday, which could bring even more severe weather and possibly some snow along the East Coast. Things get a little more uncertain after that, but the overall pattern remains very active. So to sum all this up, I think we're looking at a huge storm in the middle of next week with an elevated risk of severe weather, especially in Dixie Alley on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's also winter storm potential, but we're still figuring out exactly where that snow is going to fall. Next week is going to be busy, so stay prepared and stay tuned. We could even see severe weather almost every day next week. Starting Monday afternoon and evening, there's a chance for some isolated severe weather in the southern plains. Tuesday looks like a bigger day to watch, especially from the Mississippi River Valley into Texas. By Wednesday, the threat shifts into the deep south. There's even a chance we could see a severe weather outbreak on one of those days. Wednesday in particular is shaping up to be the most concerning day, with a strong low-level jet in the forecast that could lead to a more robust threat of tornadoes and damaging winds. We'll need to watch this one closely. I bet we'll be live at least once next week, maybe more. On the winter weather side, the upper Midwest is looking at several inches of snow on Friday, likely around 3 to 6 inches, but some isolated spots could get up to 8 or even 10 inches. Temperatures over the next couple of weeks are also going to be on a bit of a roller coaster. We've got mostly above average temps for now, but there will be a couple of shots of cold air moving in starting Friday and intensifying over the weekend. That Arctic air blast is going to hit the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast hard. So get those winter jackets ready. By Monday, warm air returns for most of the country, but another cold front is expected by late next week. The good news, these are Pacific fronts, so they won't bring the kind of brutal cold we saw in mid-February. We're talking about a drop from the 70s to the 40s or 50s, not from 70 to 10 degrees. Thank goodness. And hey, winter's wrapping up soon. Meteorological spring starts March 1st, and we've only got about a month or two left of cold weather, especially in the northern plains and Northeast. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.